Right, so welcome back, guys. Once your first time here, I'm Vision here, born Entertainment, guys. In our video today, we'll be talking about the Power Rangers reboot series. Now, Power Rangers Central Instant up there. Hit subscribe down below. Hit that bell icon. There's more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. Now, let's begin. Now, like I said, today I'm going to be talking about the Power Rangers reboot series. Now, one of the big things that has come up regarding the Power Rangers reboot series, and now this was kind of mentioned in early drafts, so we all know things can change. But one thing that was brought up early on in some of these drafts and some things we still kind of heard about is that in this reboot series, people will have forgotten that the Power Rangers have ever existed. Now, this has been a very interesting aspect because, like, how does that work really? You know, Power Rangers has always been a thing. Like, do they not know what their true identities? Which, okay, that's, okay, that's usual. They don't reveal who they are until like the finale. But when they say they don't remember what or who Power Rangers are, it's a very interesting aspect. And I'm kind of curious as to how that will work. And I'm kind of making this video as a way to give my thoughts and opinions, but also I'm kind of curious as to hear what you guys think. And maybe I'll do a video reacting to your thoughts and opinions on to why people don't remember who the Power Rangers are or what the Power Rangers are. Now, for me, I think there are two possibilities, and the one that I look at most that is to be what is more plausible in regards to this is that in this reboot series, it has been like a long time since there was the last like a Power Rangers team. Like, say this takes place in 2020, just averaging it given our current time. Say the season takes place in 2020 something, and then you say like the last Power Rangers team hasn't existed since like say the 90s or something. That's like a whole generation. People might have forgotten. Granted, again, that would kind of wouldn't explain like adults or grandparents not knowing, but it might explain like the newer generation. But again, that kind of pokes holes there. Like, how does that happen? Like, is it like a 50 years since the last PR team was created? Was it 40, 50, 10? Like, how do these people not remember who or what the Power Rangers are? It's a very interesting topic, and I'm kind of curious to see how they will end up tackling it, because I think if they do it right, they could pull it off, but if they do it badly, it could blow up in their faces. But the Power Rangers have always kept their, personal identity a secret for the most part. There have been some instances where they did, have their whereabouts, who they are known, like in Lightspeed Rescue, but for the most part, no one knew who they were in any of the seasons. So, I don't think it's going to be on that level. Like, they don't know who the Rangers are in regards to their, actual identity. What it sounds like to me is people don't remember who the Power Rangers are. So it just is a weird thing, because you'd think like at least some people might remember. Again, like, unless it has been like 50 years since the last Power Rangers team, like, okay. But it just doesn't feel like it fit in a continuity sense or a good way to introduce it. I get this taking place in a different universe. But again, I feel like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing to go. Now, another thing I heard people talk about and theorize about is, what if it's like a Men in Black situation? Now, I assume a lot of you have seen the Men in Black movies. If not, I don't know what, you're kind of missing out on some things. But in Men in Black, you have this government organization. They're aliens. They, take in the alien criminals and whatnot, and then wipe people's memory of what happened. Now, is that what's going to happen here? Is that what's happened where, like, the previous Power Rangers team did something like that? Maybe, like, there was a big event in the, like, grand finale of them fighting the villain and whatnot. And, like, after what happened, like, their identities were revealed. And it was just so catastrophic that they just had to find a way to wipe humanity's mind of the Power Rangers ever existing, or like the monsters or whatever ever existing. I think that'd actually be an interesting take, and I think that honestly, for me personally, I think that'd be a good way to frame it, because I think it's a hard way to work around like Power Rangers being forgotten through time, given the fact that you'd think like the parents of kids, the grandparents of those kids would remember the Power Rangers. So I feel like it's kind of hard to get around. And I think that taking a area regarding like taking a Men in Black idea and adding it into PR is an interesting aspect. Now we don't know like if these Rangers will be working for an organization, if they're like, you know, having their own like kind of team in this kind of group area, like we've seen it in before, like with Mystic Force and Ninja Storm, like they have their own kind of ops and their own group kind of thing. Maybe that's kind of how it is, like they have their own like mini organization, and that's how they go about it. I think it's a very interesting aspect, and I think if they continued that with this new series, like where this organization, like after a monster attack happens, like they wipe people's memories of it all happening. Like that's an interesting aspect, and I honestly, thinking about it, would think that that's a great way to incorporate PR into something different to hide their identities more. Granted, it does run the risk of plagiarism and like legal battles with people arguing that they're copying Men in Black and whatnot. Yes, that is definitely a possibility that could happen here. But I think sometimes you got to take liberties into looking at, okay, people have done these certain stories before. We can also do them. Like, I feel like there's a way you can do it, but also not make it look like you're copying another person's art. So, there's that. But I think that the idea of it being a Men in Black kind of organization helping the Power Rangers is an interesting aspect. We have had a lot of different times where organizations were in the background helping the Power Rangers, like with Beast Morphers, Lightspeed Rescue, SPD. Like you have had these organizations helping the Rangers, or the Rangers working for those organizations. I think they should go. I feel like going down that route again would be a good thing to do. I think it works in that aspect. It does kind of clash with the whole like them wanting kids only from the ages of 16 to 21. Unless this is like, say, something similar to like Ninja Storm, where it's like a Power Rangers based academy where they train Rangers, or like they did with Pai Shua and Jungle Fury. Now that would definitely be an interesting aspect, like having them go back to those roots. Definitely an interesting aspect there. I think there's a lot of different ideas they could do here. I personally like the idea of incorporating Men in Black aesthetic there, but that's just my thoughts, pains. I think it's going to be a tricky thing, like I said, for them to get around the Rangers being forgotten. And I think either the Rast Ranger team having been like a couple decades ago would work, or like a Men in Black situation where they wipe people's memories after a monster attack. Those are my top two things I can think off the top of my head that they could do. And I think, again, my personal preference would be a Men in Black style kind of thing. But, those are just the things I could think of. I'm sure you guys might have a better idea, and I'm open to any of your ideas. Drop them down. Like I said, maybe I'll react to some of your guys' theory as to how that works. Do you like my theories? Do you think that they're wrong? Like I said, do you have your own? Are you in the middle? Let me know all that good stuff in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts, opinions regarding the Power Rangers reboot series in regards to why people forgot the Power Rangers over time. Now, if Power Rangers sent your instant over there, hit subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, there's more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. And go for me on Twitter, which linked about second on my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Vision here, Boy Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.